Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the penultimate round here at Snetterton for the VRCC MX-5 Supercup Championship. As I'm sure most of you are aware, a wear drama fell upon Silverstone this evening in the F1. However, 110 miles further east of that is Snetterton, sets the stage for the penultimate round of the championship. Looking at the points, I believe it's happened across both the Pro Am and the Am lobbies, but we have, due to Ben Abbott's absence last weekend in Poland, he now sits level with Charlie Heath on 170 points. So two clear chargers leading the pack there, both on even points now. So 2 rounds left to fight it out. And I believe they are both attending Snetterton this evening, so we haven't had either of them drop out. So whilst the championship battle will continue, Tom O'Farrell not discounted from a win quite yet, in third place there, 16 points behind on 154. Does have a bit of a tall order to do, as I believe he has to beat both Charlie and Ben in all 3 races this evening at Snetterton to still be within a fighting chance of taking the top spot in the championship. So not impossible, but a tall order for him. Nathan Birch sits in 4th on 121 points. Alexander Rhodes, team principal for AJR, with his driver leading the championship, currently sits in 5th. Does Alexander on 118 points. Aaron Large in 6th place on 110. 10 points further behind him is Joshua Brown in 7th in the championship on 100 points. Roy Grassi in 8th place, another AJR driver, so the third AJR driver in the top 10 in the championship on 98 points. Arnoud Streeter in 9th on 94 points, and Stu Neal, actually probably one of the fastest people that I've seen in qualifying so far, for the small number that was in there earlier. Just rounding out the top 10 in the championship on 82 points. We have our streamers this evening as well in both the Pro and the Am lobby. So Alexander Rhodes is streaming his perspective. As you can see on Twitch, you have Trev Hummer as well, and Aaron Large as well. And then for the Am lobby, beg your pardon, Chris Callahan, Benjamin Oates, Will Harper, Alistair Pollock, and Thorsten Jaeger, all with their individual streams to go and check out. So, as said, this is the penultimate round, Snetterton 300, and then we travel to the Americas next week for the 25th at Laguna Seca. It should be a very exciting circuit to race on in these MX-5s. So, that's a couple of other little things just of note. Car number 25, Brendan Van Eden, has been excluded for the rest of the championship. After a discussion with the stewards, just decided to leave it for the rest, so we won't see him anymore. And after a very clean round in Poland, Steve Hilton incurred a 5-second penalty, but really very light on instance and action from the stewards. So without further ado, we will join the remaining 10 minutes of the qualifying session at Snetterton. So, with the clock ticking over just over 10 minutes, you can see that provisional pole does currently sit with Ben Abbott on just going to stop there outside the road, back to the pits, but is on a 2 minute and 6 seconds, so very long circuit for these cars, with little natural aspirated 4-cylinder engines, pedaling as hard as they can round. So he is on a It's at 206.182, taking provisional pole. Tom Farrell, as discussed, was running very quick in practice before the sessions began. Quick in practice, he was on a 207. So he's emulating that pace currently in the final few minutes of the qualifying session, as of course the qualifying session donates the starting positions for race 1 and then the finishing position for race 2. The finishing position for race 1 starts race 2, and then race 3 is the 8th place reverse grid. Charlie Heath, the other contender for the championship, currently sitting on the second row. Then we have Alex Jameson joining him on the second row as well. Very good contender in the VTCC in previous rounds. Struggled a little bit, I think, for results in an AC chassis, in an AC game rather. What was his best position? Let's just have a look. So Alex Jameson. So his highest position so far, but didn't actually tend 2 rounds. We have missed him for a little bit. His highest finishing position that was a 4th place in round 2, race 3 round 2. So I'm sure he's going to be wanting to show some good results here this evening. Daniel Abbott, the brother of Ben, currently pushing Jameson down into 5th. So there's still a little bit of leapfrogging left for the grid. Well, grass, as you can see, down in 6th place at the moment in the grid. Alexander Rhodes in 7th. Alexander Rhodes putting in some good performances, winning. I beg your pardon, not winning yet. Highest finishing positions so far being a 2nd place in Poland for race 1. So I think the driver's a little bit more familiar with the British Snetterton circuit rather than the international round, so it's going to be interesting what Laguna Seca does to the order. 6 minutes just over the qualifying remaining. Let's look a little bit further down the order. We have Arnoud Streeter in 8th, Joshua Brown is in 9th. Jameson's just gone off the road down the straight. Open setup, so they can tweak the cars as they wish. So I think there will be a little bit of adjustment. Quite a bumpy circuit, I think, Snetterton. More than you realise in certain corners. So then maybe that's going to be a little bit of a to handle. Trev Hummer down in 11th place. I'm informed he has aircon in his house, which is more than what most of the drivers will be, so it will be a hot evening as well. I probably should apologise if you can hear wind noise. I do have 2 fans going and the window's open, so apologies for that if that's in the background, but my needs of keeping cool are more important at this moment. TJ Kapaktika down in 11th. Leapfrogging Trev Hummer actually at the end of that lap. Good time for him. Some people still yet to set a time. Toby Owen. Actually, Toby Owen looks to be the only one left to set a time. Being the series organiser. Done a fantastic job of bringing this all together. But that does detract from actually racing a little bit, so let's hope we can get a good time in before the session ends. Last quarter of the session, qualifying session remaining. Farrell putting some very good times at the moment, going through the final few turns. Down in through Karam down to Murray's. Always a very tricky corner to find a braking point because you're having to turn and brake and manage the roll and the weight of the car. So it will catch some people out through the race as well. Putting in a good sector. I think he's hunting. He's trying to hunt for pole, but he's nearly a second off of Ben Abbott, who's already showing how much quicker he can be on this circuit as he just comes up to traffic a little bit down the Bentley Straight, which is going to upset. His first sector was a little bit slow anyway, so that's going to be a bit of a write-off lap time. Charlie Heath and Alexander Rhodes at the moment currently sharing the second row of the grid. That was Daniel Abbott. So actually on track within the same vicinity, both Abbott brothers just tripping over each other slightly. So we'll watch Daniel currently in a slipstream of Ben, trying to hang on to his coattails as much as possible. Very tricky first corner to contend with. Down into the breaking point of Montreal in the scary tree, which unfortunately doesn't actually exist anymore in real life. I think during a few months ago during the storms, I think it actually succumbed to the weather and had to be amputated a little bit. So I don't think it looks quite as scary in real life. Benny and Daniel still in formation, so this potentially could give Daniel a bit of a tow if he can keep on Ben's pace and Ben's putting in a good lap. This could potentially bring Daniel a bit further up, not directly on the same team, I don't think. Oh, it's a big tank slapper from Daniel, losing time a little bit on where was that, on the exit of Oggies. Again, very bumpy corner on the exit. It's all about trying to get that sequence of corners from Montreal to Williams all perfectly correct. With several braking points. You don't want to lose any time there. Ben Abbott, massive slide into Nelson's. .51 seconds of qualifying remaining. Daniel goes past Ben. And Daniel just with one more corner to do. We'll see what his time is, and then Ben will get across the line, I think, for one more. I say stab at pole. He's already in pole. So there we have it. Even with the tow from his brother, leapfrogs Alexander Rhodes into 4th place on the grid. Slightly overruns the first corner, so you can see how much of a pace he had. I think he's trying to carry it through into the next lap. He has traffic in front of him, so I'm not sure that's going to help him too much. Where is Tom O'Farrell? He is just finishing sector 1 down the Bentley Straight. Also latter sector 2. Charlie Heath as well will need to up his pace a little bit if he wants to try and challenge for the front row. Calls it quits, so settles with his 2 minutes 7 seconds. But Ben Abbott with a nearly an entire second, 0.9 of a second quicker than the entire grid, really. So really has that that car under control, spins out, and again calls that quits on his lap time. Most of the field are in the pits. Tom O'Farrell not actually improving on his time massively, actually. Breaks into the 206s. Not enough for pole, but a very good start position on the front row. So your front row looks like Ben Abbott and Tom O'Farrell, and Charlie Heath and Daniel Abbott for row 2. So we will see if we can try and grab Mr. Ben. While the very final of the grid, Toby Owen unfortunately not getting out of the pits and not setting a time, so he will start from the back, unfortunately. Good evening, Ben. How are you this evening?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Yes.
Good. How was that lap for you?
It was good. Yeah. There's a bit more time to find. I know. I think there's a couple of tenths in it. I really want to get into the 205s. I think that's doable, but I'd have to get every inch perfect lap. But this is my favourite circuit. Like, I race here in the real MX-5s and I absolutely love it. So it's going to be good. So this is a good chance for me to get a bit of a gap on Charlie if I can. The reverse grid always has a bit of fun, so looking forward to that.
Cool. Are you? He's currently sitting on the second row, I believe. Are you worried him being so close? Are you concerned how close he is to you in the championship? What are your thoughts on the championship as it stands?
Obviously I want to have a bit more of a gap. That'd be lovely. But it's nice that there's a bit of a competition going on. So I just got to, my aim is to try and do well in the first 2 races, and then sort of play it safe in the 3rd race and not cause any problems. Getting penalties can obviously derail your championship quite quickly. So just keep it clean, keep it nice, and keep it on tarmac. Build a gap early in the race if I can, and try and manage it from the front if possible. But it's MX-5 racing, you never know. And there's quite long straights here, so it could end.
It's quite a mix, this one, isn't it? Because you've got very tight technical sections in the infield, and then 2 massive straights to try and hang on to the slipstream of anyone in front. So it's going to be an interesting one, definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. As I said, it's my favourite circuit. It's relatively easy to overtake at, but you've got to be quite close. But we'll see.
Well, we'll wait to see if it's a masterclass from you at Snetterton. So, good luck for the first race, friend.
Thank you very much.
That was Ben Abbott on his thoughts on the racing. Very interesting that despite being an entire second nearly of his closest rival, or half a second of his closest rival, still thinks he's got time in him, still knows he's got time in him to try and break the 105. So that'll be interesting to see if he manages to get that done. So yes, we are just resetting the servers very briefly, and then we will be back for race 1 very shortly. So don't go away. So there we have the grid lining up. We have confirmed Ben Abbott is on row 1 next to Tom O'Farrell. Row 2 is Charlie Heath and Daniel Abbott. Row 3 is Alexander Rhodes and Roy Grassi. Row 4 you have Alex Jameson and Stu Neal. Row 5 is Arnoud Streeter and Joshua Brown. And at the back, TJ Kapatka and Trev Hummer. Toby Owen unfortunately seems to be missing a little bit from race 1. We did see qualifying, but hasn't yet joined in for the race. And slightly smaller count than what we're used to with I think the inaugural rounds being like nearly 20 or so pro drivers. But I'm sure with the remainder we have, it will be some fantastic racing for all. The final few seconds of the build-up left before the racing begins. Everyone's starting to get all ready and raring to go. We have our 6 red lights on the gantry. The engine notes rise. And we are away for race 1 at Snetterton this evening. A fantastic start from Mr. Abbott. Tom O'Farrell trying to get the inside line. Can he hold it until the first corner? He's trying. Ben's going to have to give him a little bit of room. Side by side still as they too wide, nearly all the way down. But Ben Abbott takes the lead from Tom O'Farrell. Tom trying to get the outside. Charlie Heath and Daniel Abbott side by side as well, all the way through Montreal. Very wide for Ben Abbott. That's going to lose him a lot of speed. So Tom is got his lights on, trying to unnerve the driver. Trying to force him into a mistake. They're all starting to fall into single file a little bit. So Daniel Abbott has got up into 3rd over Charlie Heath. For Charlie Heath with a outside line, I think, going into Agostini and getting that position. Tom O'Farrell looking for a space. Everyone running a little bit wide on the grass. Charlie Heath getting back into 3rd place though. A fantastic manoeuvre he managed to do. All very wide to the grass. That's going to unnerve them for the braking zone. Charlie Heath under pressure from Alexander Rhodes as well, and so is Roy Grassi, so several of the AGI drivers all the way up. Charlie Heath with an inside, Daniel Abbott with an inside manoeuvre coming onto the exit of Williams. Has the run down the straight. Who got a better run slightly? Is Tom O'Farrell on the slipstream? Ben Abbott? No, he's managed to get away, but Charlie Heath ekes out the lead over Daniel. But Alexander Rhodes on a massive dive on the inside, just there, nearly 3 wide heading into Brundle. That's a car on the inside of Brundle. Who was that cut the corner a little bit? I think that was Alex Jameson a little bit. Daniel Abbott, though, on the exit of the bomb hole, has managed to get back up into 3rd. So a fantastic battle for 2nd place. Ben Abbott trying to eke out that position already, but 3rd place is not sewn up. You've got 3 AJR cars all battling for position as well. So everyone very, very close succession. 3 wide coming out of Murray's. At the back, who is right at the back? Unfortunately, Arnoud Streeter, nearly 20 seconds adrift, so I'm not sure what happened to him, unfortunately. Hopefully he wasn't involved in a major incident that can continue. They're shuffling around the order a little bit. That was very close racing from 2 cars, but they're off in the background. Several cars not shown on the camera. There we are. TJ Kapatka is off. So is Trev Hummer. Joshua Brown just getting back on, but not sure what happened there, whether it was someone's insanely late braking manoeuvre into turn 1. But 3 cars all sort of falling off the order. Arnoud Streeter actually coming through the pit lane, so whether he had a penalty or damage, not too sure. TJ does get back onto the circuit on the exit of Montreal. It does continue. How was our battle for 3rd? 3rd is currently held by Daniel Abbott, with Charlie Heath in tow. Alexander Rhodes back in 5th as well. So they are all currently single file, so not a lot happening too much, but I think people just settling into the race a little bit, trying to hold on to their patch of tarmac. There's a good battle for 6th place Heating up between Roy Grassy, Stu O'Neill and Alex Jameson. All within a few seconds. Jameson with a big lunge on the inside. Doesn't find the space though before they hit Brundle. However, Alexander Rhodes is off the circuit. What happened to him? Where is he? Just gets going again. So, yeah, for an unfortunate incident for Alexander Rhodes, rejoins back in 8th. I think Trev Hummer as well has fallen off the circuit on the exit of Nielsen. So again, that left, right of Brundle Nielsen, very quick circuit, catching a lot of people out, especially on that lap. Just over 15 minutes remaining. 2 personal best times for Abbott and Tom O'Farrell. Just a tenth of a second separates them on their quickest times. So they're both giving it all they can. The quickest first sector went to Ben on that last round. What is happening here? 3 wide. Someone's getting very, very wide on the grass. Going through into Montreal. Big slide for Stu Neal in the background, losing out a lot of speed. So it's now Roy Grassy and Alex Jameson battling for 5th place. Through Palmer they go. Is Jameson looking for a braking manoeuvre into Agostini? He's looking up the inside. Can he brake later? Grassy's not making it easy for him, but has to yield, and Alex Jameson finds the space and takes the inside line and takes that position. But Grassy's looking for the switchback, gets a better exit, and they're side by side once again. Roy Grassy takes back 5th place. Alex Jameson tried his best but couldn't carry the speed that he needed. That battle has allowed Stu Neal to just try and catch up on that, to battling once again. Ben Abbott, after the first quarter of the race, really driving away with the result at the moment, controlling it, as he said, controlling it as he needs to. The battle for 3rd between Daniel Abbott and Charlie Heath still hotting up. Tom Farrell's gone off on the exit of the bomb hole. So again, even the quicker drivers have been caught out on the exit. So that's really let Ben Abbott get away. He's managed to recover fairly quickly, so he's not got Daniel Abbott on his tail as of yet. Very wide from Charlie Heath on the rumble strips on the curbing. Just holds on to it. So several battles through the order. Everyone very used to the circuit. Daniel Abbott and Charlie Heath not giving each other the space. Charlie Heath, I think, just biding his time at this point. Looking for an opening when he can. But they are closing down on Tom O'Farrell. You can see how close it is. I think we're going to see a movement, an attempt at the infield from Charlie Heath possibly. If he can keep that distance nice and short. You can see in the background as well, Grassy and Jameson still battling out. Jameson looking for an outside manoeuvre possibly. Roy Grassy's defending the inside, moves across the circuit to block him off. And under braking holds off Jameson once again, because he knows that's where Jameson is tried once before. So doesn't want to give him the space. See Stu Neal down in 7th as well. Joshua Brown in 8th. Trev Hummer in 9th. TJ Kapaktika in 10th. Alexander Rhodes, unfortunately, after falling off the circuit, down 11th. And Arnold Streeter in 12th. Down the Bentley Straight. Ben Abbott just eking out a gap over Charlie Heath. So I think Charlie Heath's a little bit slower on the exit of Williams after that technical infield section. But not as such between Roy Grassy and Alex Jameson. Still very, very close on circuit. Alex Jameson just following the wheel tracks led by Grassy. A little bit of a wobble under braking from Grassy, but they exit the corner in the same sequence that they entered. It's a very quick times coming through from our racers first. Turn side by side between Roy Grass and Alex Jameson. Jameson with an outside manoeuvre. Holds the speed very well, but is going to be on the back foot going into Montreal. Unless he can get a better exit. Looking for the undercut. Finds what he needs and they're side by side once again. But he's not got the inside line. If he can carry the speed around the outside, can't quite do it and has to fall behind Roy Grassy once again. Very, very brave manoeuvre. Held onto the car fantastically. But Roy Grassy equally good at defending his line and keeping Jameson at bay. Stu Neal behind them getting ever closer as well. Trying to get back into the mix of this battle. But Joshua Brown distance as well, can all see it happening again. Looks like Jameson was looking at the inside and thought better of it. Was looking at the inside of Oggies, I think it was. But the last second dived back behind Roy Grassy to try and carry the speed, carry the slipstream down the straight. Could this be an opportunity? He's very close. He will get a slipstream. I don't think there's too much he can really gain. An outside manoeuvre once again, not close enough through Nelson. But Stu Neal's caught back up, so it's now a 3-car battle once again for 5th. Gaps opened up now between Charlie Heath and Ben Abbott for 3rd. Daniel Abbott rather, and then Ben Abbott and Tom O'Farrell again, the gaps opened up. So you're currently top 4, looks like Ben Abbott, Tom O'Farrell, Daniel Abbott, Charlie Heath. And then that very tight battle, the 5th, between Grassy, Jameson and Neal. Jameson looking for another outside manoeuvre. He carried the slipstream. He's done it once. Can he do it again? He's certainly going to try. A little bit quicker. The nose is slightly further ahead this time and outside of turn 1. Alex Jameson takes 5th place. 3 wide now going into Montreal. Stu Neal tries to follow through. Stu Neal with the undercut, possibly on Roy Grassy. No, can't get the exit, and Roy Grassy sits sandwiched between Jameson and Neal in 6th. And Alex Jameson currently 5th. So Roy Grassy having to defend hard from Stu Neal, trying to follow Jameson's line. Squeezed out slightly is Stu Neal as they head into Agostini. So that distraction from Stu Neal has on Roy Grassy has allowed Alex Jameson to open up the gap. Stu Neal runs wide. Where is he going to end up? Is he going to miss Roy Grassy? He does. But no, that's not what Stu Neal wanted to do. Ran wide at Hamilton onto the grass and luckily didn't plough into anyone else. Recovered well, but that's unfortunately lost him a fair few seconds over Roy Grassy. And Alex Jameson now completely unhindered has managed to open up nearly a second gap over Roy Grassy. So fantastic clean battle between the 3. Stu Neal trying his absolute best to capitalise on Jameson's manoeuvre, but not able to do it. I think that was the closest battle in the grid. No, beg your pardon. Daniel Abbott and Charlie Heath still fairly close on track. What is happening here? Who is off? TJ Gabagtiga has come off on the exit of the bomb hole. On the entry of the bomb hole, rather. And joins. That's allowed Trev Hummer up into 9th. Alexander Rhodes may get round him as well in 11th. I think Charlie, he's just biding his time a little bit, trying to chase down Daniel, but I think does have to manage his tyres at the same time. Alex Jameson now up into 5th place, opening up the gap over Roy Grassi. So yes, Tom O'Farrell had the task set ahead of him to try and beat both Charlie and Ben in all 3 races. Believe this will hinder that, but I think that'll probably bump him up closer to Charlie Heath's 3rd place or 2nd place in the championship after the points are all settled. But no, a very dominant performance in race 1 already from Ben Abbott. Did what he needed to do, was under pressure for a bit from Tom. But Tom not able to hold on. Tom's... where was he? What was Tom's highest position? So Tom with a string of good results. 1 race win at Donington. Then race 3 and then a smattering, a 2nd to 3rd. So a very good consistent driver. Not as many wins as Charlie or Ben. But very, very capable and clearly does like Snetterton as well. Lap 7 currently for Ben Abbott in 1st place. An incredibly dominant performance. I think the only thing left for him is trying to get best lap. Who does have the best lap, fastest lap so far? I think that is actually him. 206.3. So 0.3 off of his target of getting into 205s. Whether we'll see that by the end or not, he may just be saving that for when he needs it. The gap opening up between Daniel Abbott and Charlie Heath. So not really the performance that Charlie Heath needs to challenge for championship marks. This is going to hurt his attack. But again, we still have 3 races that could all change the order once again. As we've heard from Ben, race 3, the reverse grid is slightly challenging. Getting through what is a grid of 11 cars. Roy Grassi in 6th. Well, it looks like he will have to settle for 6th. As we've seen, interestingly actually, I wasn't expecting this, but TJ Kapaktika, or Kapaktika, has actually chased down Trev Hummer, and Alexander Rose has actually managed to catch up on him, so we have a 3-car battle for 9th place. What has happened here? Someone's come off. What's going on? That might be a false alarm. That might just be... Certainly had a panic then as all of the standing order changed, but no, I think there's a slight glitch in the system. But back to this battle for 9th place between Trev Hummer, TJ and Alexander. Alexander Rose trying to get around, looking to be a bit desperate, rubbing the back of car number 12. Very aggressively trying to move him off the racing line. I think got a little bit frustrated going around the bum hole that it was found an MX-5 in his way. Alexander Rose does have the exit though of Murray's and gets past TJ fairly quickly. I think we'll have his teammate Trev in his sights at the moment just to recover. Was running in 5th unfortunately until I wasn't sure he'd hit anyone or whether he just came off his own accord, but did lose track position. TJ I think trying to close the gap under braking, but that's going to run a bit deep into that corner. No, he does come back. He closed that up very, very well. On the outside now of Alexander Rhodes going into Palmer. Does concede that as he has to turn in. Looks at the undercut. Alexander Rhodes moving across the circuit. TJ weaving a bit over the racing line, trying to find a gap. looking to the outside, side by side. They're rubbing wheels mid-corner. So very aggressive between the two. TJ runs wide onto the grass. He's going to have to run on back onto circuit for his braking point. Does run a bit deep. Will lose time a little bit. Whether he might be able to catch back up on the main straight, possibly. Rhodes runs wide as well, but he's nearly in the slipstream of Trev Hummer for 9th. The gaps for the remaining drivers. Charlie Heath, I think, doesn't have anything in the tank for his charge to 3rd. Ben Abbott is on the last lap of the race. So one more lap for Trev and Alexander. It's Ben Abbott currently coming through Palmer, completely unchallenged and nearly 8 seconds ahead of Tom O'Farrell now. On the exit one last time, will they get across the line for another lap, or will this be the end? 5 seconds remaining. I think they'll just about make it. Will TJ? TJ does not. No. Does he? No, he does. Sorry. Countdown. Beg your pardon. The leader has to come across the line on the final lap. So just the countdown was reaching 0, not their actual time. So yes, they do have a time, as you can see on Montreal. Alexander Rhodes under braking gets a maneuver down on Trev Hummer. Alexander Rhodes now up into 9th place as we are watching Ben Abbott on his final lap of race 1. A very dominant performance, did what he needed to do, saw off the advances of Tom O'Farrell and drove away with the win completely throughout the race. Has not put a foot wrong all season, essentially, and adds to his collection of points to increase his championship lead. One more turn for him to go. Finds his braking point perfectly, kisses the apex, and now the final straight to the race 1 win. And race 1 going to Ben Abbott. Flashing lights of victory. Well done to him. Victory slide. Oh, very nice. Someone's been practicing that. Very, very smart J-turn on the end. Tom O'Farrell, a hard-fought but well-deserved 2nd place. And then, interestingly, the other Abbott brother in 3rd. Not quite sure where Ben is going, but can't get through there. Scaring the marshals, I'm sure. So yes, congratulations to Ben Abbott on his win there. We will try and get the top 3 in the comms box. I'm sure it won't take too long to do. The others are still just coming across the line. So Charlie Heath finishing 4th, Jameson in 5th, Roy Grassi in 6th, Neil in 7th, Joshua Brown in 8th, Alexander Rhodes in 9th, Trev Hummer in 10th, TJ Kapaktika in 11th, and Arnoud Streeter in 12th. So that was so I think once we get them in, I think it's the first time I've actually had both brothers in the same victory interview, quite possibly. Good evening, Tom. First of the punch. How was that for you? Mr. O'Farrell.
Hello, sorry.
Hello. How are you this evening?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm alright. It's very hot. No, but probably not a patch on what you chaps are feeling at the moment. Racing.
Yeah, Yeah, it's slightly hot. That was a good race up to the start. I made a bit of a mistake coming out of the chicane at the end of the Bentley Straight, and I kind of lost the back of Ben, which is a bit irritating. But just keep it clean and continue on for the rest of the race. Really.
No, apart from that very little wobble, that was a flawless performance, really. Were you worried that you had Dan and Charlie on your tail too soon, or did you keep your cool and manage to hold them off?
I could see them battling, so I was kind of hoping they were going to battle for a bit longer. I think they've got better race pace than me, to be honest. But yeah, I was just trying to set qualifying lap after qualifying lap, and then I made mistakes, and they were catching. So it's like, right, keep your head, keep calm. You can keep second place, and thankfully it paid off.
It did pay off beautifully, yes. So any thoughts going into race 2, starting on the front row once again?
Try not to let Ben pass, to be honest.
That's one tactic. We'll see if it works out. So yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get me off the line again, and he's going to go past, and he's won the race again. So yeah, hopefully another second place at least.
We shall see. It all could change. We shall speak to Dan first, actually, I think. How are you this evening? I think this is the first time we've actually had both brothers in the commentary box at the same time.
Hey.
Yes. How was your race, sir?
Yeah, it was good. Had a great battle with Charlie at the start there, coming through a bit of chopping and changing, but I think we eventually settled into a rhythm, and it's just, I think as Tom said, it was keeping your head, not making a mistake, and trying to not screw this one up somehow, as I tend to have a habit of doing in most of the other races. So yeah, it was nice. I mean, it was fun, I guess, watching Ben disappear. But those of us that want good racing, we're a bit further back.
No, it was a fantastic battle to watch between the two. That I think at one point you were holding off 3 AJR cars all at the same time. So yeah, good. Well done for keeping your cool in that battle. I saw a little bit of qualifying help, I think, from Ben. I think following the quickest lap you posted to get up the order. So was that the plan, or was
it didn't help?
Did it not?
I was actually down on that lap. We thought, we'll try a tow because, why not? But I was down, I think, because I just couldn't. It's difficult when you're so close to a car in front. You haven't got your sight lines, and I'm not good enough at this to be able to be quick that close. It didn't help. And then suddenly I think I finally managed to nail the last corner or one of the corners, and I was like, I'm up. So Ben just got out of the way so I could finish the lap without screwing it up somehow. So yeah, it didn't help, but we thought it was worth a go.
Fair enough. Yeah. Any thoughts going into race 2?
Let's hope for more of the same, really. It was great racing with Charlie. It was completely fair. Maybe we can catch Tom, but I think Tom's probably too quick for me, but we'll give it a go.
We shall see. So good luck for that. So, race winner, race 1. Ben, how was that for you?
That was good. I enjoyed that. It's a bit odd starting off from the outside. I was a bit worried that given I know Tom starts relative about the same pace I did, going to turn 1 on the outside is not great. Then the next turn on the outside again, but luckily managed to get through turn 1 quicker, and then just went on defensive into the first hairpin, and then took me a while to get down to the pace I was happy with. I kept making silly mistakes, but once I got my rhythm going, yeah, it was a nice flow. Desperately trying to get into those 205s. I think it's possible.
We didn't see it, did we? Not yet.
No, we've got 206.1, I think. So I think it's possible, because on that lap I made a slight mistake on the exit of the first corner. So I think it's possible, but again, it's going to be the perfect lap. But I've got another 20 minutes to find out. So let's see what we can do.
We do indeed, and yeah, good luck for race 2, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So we have so that was the top 3 from race 1, going to Ben Abbott, Tom O'Farrell finishing 2nd, and then Daniel Abbott in 3rd. We are just getting the server set up for race 2, which will be beginning in just a moment, so just bear with while we get that set up, and yeah, don't go anywhere. A very exciting race 2, I'm sure, coming up. Welcome back to race 2 this evening at Snetterton 300. We'll just run through the grid very quickly. So we have Ben Abbott on pole, with row 1 being Ben Abbott, Tom Farrell. Row 2 is Daniel Abbott and Charlie Heath. Row 3 is Roy Grassi, and Alex Jameson's actually missing at the moment, so he's actually got not long left to join in. Stu Neal and Joshua Brown line up, Alexander Rhodes and Trev Hummer, and at the back is TJ Kapactor and Arnold Streecher. So yeah, hopefully Alex Jameson can join us before it starts, but there's not long. He has indeed. I've just seen the car in the background. So by the skin of his teeth, joins for race 2. On the third row, we have now 6th. Red lights on the gantry. All the drivers ready and raring to go. Looking for those lights to go out. The engine notes rise. And we are away for race 2. An equal start looks like for Tom and Ben. Tom with the inside line once again. 2 wide all the way down the grid. Going into turn 1. Tom's got the inside line. Can he hold off Ben's advances? Charlie's already got past Daniel going in, but no. Ben Abbott holds on to the lead of the race. Going into the braking zone for Montreal. Running very wide, trying to cut off Tom. Running over the curbing. Nearly 3 wide on the exit. There's rubbing happening behind. Who is that? I think that was Alexander Rose and Trev Hummer rubbing for position. But they managed to survive. Do they? People running wide. Is that Joshua Brown? Someone off as well? Is that Arnoud once again? At the back. But they all get through unscathed and recover fairly quickly. Battling all the way down the order. 9th is TJ Kabak to go up ahead of Trev Hummer already, continuing that battle from the first race. Ben Abbott still holding on. Alex Jameson trying to get past Charlie Heath now. 3-car battle for 3rd. Runs over the curbing. So this is not what Charlie Heath wants to have to deal with. He wants to try and battle with Ben. There's a touch between the two. And Charlie Heath's forcibly moved over off the racing line. But they all get through fairly unscathed. Nearly 3 wide heading down the Bentley Straight. This is for playing into Daniel Abbott's hands really, really well, as Charlie Heath now is having to battle hard for position against Alex Jameson. Charlie at the inside line. Who is that spinning? There's Joshua Brown just missing the back of Charlie Heath's car. Running wide onto the grass, as a few of the cars are. A few of them seeking the opportunity to gain a place. The Jameson now completely clear. Roy Grassi up into 6th place. Joshua Brown down in 7th, but TJ on the inside line, not leaving a lot of room. He's having to force his way in. Can he get him under braking? They're running very, very close. They all just about get slowed down, run through Murray's corner and on the exit. Heart-stopping stuff slightly for all the drivers, but we have Alexander Rhodes in the slipstream of Trev Hummer. Front 2 relatively unchanged. Ben Abbott eking out the gap now over Tom O'Farrell. Tom O'Farrell trying to keep his head down and maintain that gap. He doesn't want to let it go, but it's going to take an enormous amount of mental energy. What has happened here? Someone's turned around. Alexander Rose once again through Montreal's, pointing the wrong way. Does recover. Flashing his lights, I think, a little bit upset at what transpired. Where's Trev Hummer? Trev Hummer shows... where is it showing us where he is? I don't think he's actually... No, he is on the grid. It's showing him in 12th, but I'm not particularly sure why. I think that will update fairly soon. He must have managed to get up the order fairly quickly, unless he is a back marker, but I didn't think he was. It's only being lap 2. Daniel Abbott down to 3rd, Charlie Heath in 4th. Where is the live timing set? No, live timing says Trev Hummer is indeed in 13th. Hopefully that will update us in a minute as to where he actually is. Who is battling Stu Neal and Arnoud Streecher side by side going down the Bentley Straight. Who will yield going into the next set of corners? It is Stu Neal ahead, and Arnoud had to yield into the braking zone. Tom O'Farrell is slightly falling behind Ben Abbott. A second dominant performance from Ben. Eking out the gap. Charlie Heath is back up into 4th place, actually getting past Alex Jameson once again. They all managed to get through the last corner unscathed. No, Trev Hummer is showing there's a lap down. So he, I didn't see him go into the pits, so whether that's a glitch in the system or hopefully that'll be updated. On track he's running at about 7th place, I think, if it was up to date, but whether he's cut a corner and it's discounted him from the order, I'm not too sure. That potentially may be corrected by the stewards after the race, but we'll have to see. Lap 2 for Ben Abbott, driving away with the lead. So I don't know whether Tom O'Farrell made a mistake. We didn't see one, but unfortunately can't hold up to the pace of Ben Abbott in race 2 for the moment. But again, all could change. One little mistake, and I'm sure Tom will be there on the back of that gold and blue car. Looking further down the order, Streeter and go battling with position. Streeter getting past, but losing out a lot of speed. That's allowed Streeter to get the run on him down the Bentley straight. We've got a couple of cars running too wide. Is that Alexander Rhodes in his slipstream, trying to follow through? I don't think he's going to get it done. It's going to be a very brave manoeuvre on the outside. Trying to fight for space. He's got the inside going in. Is there going to be contact? There isn't. They very managed to avoid each other. Stu Neal up into 8th place. Round the bumhole they go. Alexander Rhodes trying to fight for position. Trying to get round Arnoud as quickly as he can. Side by side once again. We'll see which one manages to get the position going into the first turn. Alexander Rhodes up the inside trying to block him. What is happening here? Daniel Abbott's made a mistake somewhere. And Charlie Heath has managed to get up into 3rd place. So that massive lead that Daniel had has been eroded completely, I think, of his own accord. Charlie Heath up into 3rd. There's rubbing between Alex Jameson and Daniel Abbott. And Daniel Abbott off the road, losing amount of speed, but does manage to stick in 4th place, I think. I think Alex Jameson backed off because he knew what had happened. And held on to that place. Jameson trying to get as close as he can for the slipstream, but caused Daniel to run off the road. I'm fairly sure no action will be taken from any of the stewards, but that has allowed Charlie Heath to open up the gap nearly a second over Daniel Abbott. So again, it looked like a repeat performance of race 1, however, completely different. Jameson actually with the run, moving out the slipstream and gets a much better exit and takes 4th place. So 2 places lost now from Daniel Abbott. Daniel looking for position. Got behind Roy Grass and Joshua Brown, I think, weaving about, battling as well. A very tense battle now. Daniel Abbott right on the back of Alex Jameson. Down the main straight they go. Daniel trying to hold on. I don't think he's close enough to make a maneuver quite yet. It's going to be quite a lunge if he tries to do it going to turn 1 now. What's happening at the back? Alexander Rhodes does get round car number 12. but is not in the clear yet. TJ does weave about slightly, I think, trying to look for position. Alexander Rhodes coming up to the back of Trev Hummer on track, but again, Trev Hummer, I think's timing is unfortunately broken slightly and does show him as 3 laps down now, but I don't think that's correct at all. I think he is still battling for position on track, so has the right to defend his 12th place at the moment. Beg one, his what would be 8th place. The slow exit from Alexander Rhodes has allowed TJ past once again, and Arnoud as well. So 2 places lost from Alexander. Tries to get a better exit, looking to the inside line, holds on and gets a very clean manoeuvre done on Arnoud once again. Looking at Alex James, the times between Alex Jameson and Daniel Abbott down the Bentley Straight. Alex Jameson's going to have to try and defend hard. Looks like Daniel still slightly too far back, actually. I thought he tried to collect himself and make a counter-offensive fairly soon. The 4 cars at the back of the grid now, weaving about position. So TJ's managed to get back up into 9th or so in front of Trev Hummer. Slightly scrappy entry into Brundle, but holds on to it. So TJ up into 9th, Alexander Rhodes in 10th. Arnoud Streeter in 11th, and Trev Hummer is on track, is higher up than where the timing is unfortunately saying he is. But a very, very heated battle for the 4 cars at the back. Trev Hummer looks to be going down the inside line, weaves about. Can he get the car alongside quick enough? Not quite. Dabs the brakes and 4 lanes behind TJ. Can he get the outside line? We've seen Jameson do it twice already. Looks like a bit of a dive from Trev Hummer. Just gets it in where he needs to be and holds off TJ. But there's a poor exit and has to allow him in front. Lap 5 still sees Ben Abbott in front, relatively completely unchallenged actually, with a 6.3 second lead over his nearest rival. Just looking at the gap between Alex Jameson and Daniel Abbott. Daniel Abbott completely falling off the pace slightly. That looked close between Rhodes and Streeter, I think. No, that was Rhodes and Kapactica. Rhodes flashing his lights, trying to find any sort of gap, unnerving the driver as he can. It's so tight between the 4 cars at the back of the grid. I think Trev Hummer is in front of this pack. TJ with the slipstream down the Bentley Straight now. Will we see him make a manoeuvre? Has he got the pace? Looks to the inside as Trev Hummer goes wide. Massive slide from TJ under braking. Loses speed, but just about holds it. It's a very quick entry into that corner. It's working for him. What is happening here? Charlie Heath has lost a massive amount of time, and Alex Jameson's got up into 3rd place. So change for 3rd, as we've seen Alexander Rhodes get past TJ Kapactica, but TJ defends the inside line. Looks like Alex Rhodes is going to get a better exit. TJ has to concede that, falls back behind. So Trev Hummer in 9th technically, and Alexander Rhodes, what happened there? What has happened there? There was a massive netcode issue with that one, because they did not look close to each other at all. So I'm not sure whose internet decided to have a wobbly at that moment, but they did. Unfortunately, the computer thought they made contact. Unfortunately, Alexander Rhodes is now down in 11th. We've already seen it be a little bit inconsistent, as Trev Hummer is still technically 5 laps down, so it's not counting any of his laps. So I don't think he's been disqualified or anything like that. But yeah, so apologies for the slight technical issues with the server. Back up in the lead sees Ben Abbott in first, coming into Brundle with just under 6 minutes remaining. Tom O'Farrell, despite his very best efforts to hold on to his pace, but valiantly and fantastically holding on to second place, a fantastic position to be in. So despite thinking that he may be leapfrogged by, or maybe under pressure from Heath and Abbott, has nearly a 7 or so second lead, 5 or so second lead over Jameson, who's now up into third, who's really putting people in his place now in his return after 2 weeks away, 2 rounds away. So the battle for between Charlie Heath and Daniel Abbott may continue, but not in the way that I think they were particularly expecting. So I suspect that, although we didn't see what instance it was, I think just possibly due to the heat, due to how tiring the conditions are for the drivers, Heath and Daniel both making fairly massive errors that costing them positions, but they are trying to close down Jameson as much as they can. So potentially we could see a 3-car battle for the final position on the podium before the end of the race. So Jameson already trying to, unless that's his quickest line he's got, he's already trying to defend from a lunge from the 2 drivers behind. A little bit of a gap to Roy Grassi in 6th, Joshua Brown 7th, Stu Neal on 8th, TJ Kirkpatrick and our new striker still battling hard. I think the only 2 cars remaining. Trev Hummer shows as being behind Rhodes on the timing screen, but actually isn't. So out of those 4 cars battling for 9th, the only ones remaining are TJ Kirkpatrick and Arnold Streeter. Who will get the better exit of the 2 onto the Bentley straight? TJ Kirkpatrick takes the lead into 9th place. Trev Hummer actually coming up as a DNF actually on that one. Again, I don't know whether that's a timing issue or whether we'll see him drop back into the server. Hopefully that's not all done and dusted for the AGR driver. Lap 8 now. The penultimate, so this will be the penultimate lap of race 2. Has he done his 105? He has indeed. The actual last lap from Ben Abbott is his 105.948. So by the actual tightest of margins has managed to achieve his goal that he set out for himself in a 205. So I'm sure he'll be buzzing after that. And with a 10-second lead and the incredible consistent pace he has, it's going to be very, very difficult to see him not taking the race 2 win. Tom O'Farrell fantastically holding on to 2nd. Alex Jameson in 3rd. After that absolute charge from the independent driver. Charlie Heath and Daniel Abbott trying to chase him down as much as they can. There's still a little bit of a way to go. Looking further down the order, 9th place is still the battle for 9th still raging on Alexander Rhodes with unfortunately very unlucky round. Very unlucky race 2 as in race 1, and sees himself at the back of the pack. So with 1 minute remaining on the clock, this will be the last lap of the race. as we see Ben Abbott cross the line for the final time. Top speed 116 miles an hour, so again quicker than anyone else at the fastest point of the circuit. Battle for Knights changing hands once again. Round the bumhole they go. Arnold Streetcher and TJ Kapactica sees Arnold in 9th. Has to hold off contact between the two. So after close racing, there is unfortunate contact between the two. Looks like TJ has held his hands up, realised that he made that mistake, and has let Arnold Streetcher back up into 9th place. As valiant as they is, however, that does look like it may have allowed Alex Rhodes to really close in the gap, but we shall see. They may get back up to speed quite quickly. The battle for 3rd place looks fairly sewn up. Charlie Heath and Daniel Abbott getting closer on track for position, so we may see a lunge from Daniel Abbott into 4th place. But that's a little bit unlikely at this stage. Down the Bentley straight for the last time comes Ben Abbott. Another tick in his race plan done. Another feather in his crown for race 2. I'm being told that Trev Hummers will. Oh, there we go. He's back. He's back on circuit. He possibly will classify correctly, but he is currently in the pits. Down the straight comes Ben Abbott to take the race to win. Flashes of lights to victory. Will we see another expert J-turn 360 no scope for the victory as Ben Abbott comes across the line. Tom O'Farrell taking 2nd place. A fantastic result for him. And Alex Jameson in 3rd place. A slightly surprising result. Caught the other two napping and finishes on the podium. Regressing 6th. Joshua Brown is 7th. Stu Neal coming across the line in 8th. Arnold Streetcher and TJ Kapactica still battling it out right the way down to the last corner. And that will be Streetcher in 9th, TJ in 10th. And then Alexander Rhodes coming across the line in 11th place. With the burnout to end it. The thrills and spills for race 2 that we have. Let's just exit out of that. So let's try and get the race winners into the lobby. And oh, that was very quick. Alex, how are you?
Well, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. So what happened there, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun race. Somehow ended up with a podium.
I must apologise. We sort of caught napping with the amount of pace you had. But did you spot the errors from the drivers ahead and thought this is my chance?
Yeah, pretty much. I think I managed to force 1 or 2 of them into errors. Just I don't actually. Yeah, my pace has come good actually in the last sort of 10 minutes, I guess. Didn't get much practice at all done, and I was sort of lapping around 208s in practice. It qualified with a 208 something as well. But then, all of a sudden in this session managed to get down into the 7s and was, able to put some people under pressure and get a podium out of it. So, quite a surprise.
No, fantastic. It was a good result. We have in the comms box Charlie. What happened?
I've no idea. I had a terrible race, but No idea. Firstly, first lap, I was fighting with Dan, and I think Alex stuck it up the inside, and I just didn't see him. I turned in, so sorry about that. But yeah, after that, I was chasing Dan. I think he went off coming out of Murray's, and I capitalised on that, and then managed to pull away a bit because I think Dan and Alex were fighting. But then I made a mistake coming out of Murray's, and they both caught me again. And yeah, couldn't catch Alex, but managed to hold Dan off, so it was all right.
Good. Dan, is that conducive with what your race was, or how was that for you?
Yeah, to be fair, the battling was great fun. A few, I think, as Charlie said, I think we all made a few mistakes, maybe apart from Alex this time around. But yeah, it was great battling. I made a mistake, and then Charlie and Alex got past me, and then I think I made a move into Wilson, got Alex back, and then Alex tagged me, and then it was one of those races where it was chopping and changing, and I just we're so close on pace, I think, the three of us. Unless you're there, there's not much we can do. I enjoyed looking at the back of Charlie's car for the final 5 minutes, desperately trying to catch it. But nothing to do this time. But so there's one apiece between us. But maybe next time, third race decided. Let's see how that one goes.
So you just need like a big magnet to just try and just edge closer to the back of that car.
We do seem to be close to each other all the time, but it's good fun racing. It's always clean. That's the most important thing.
It is. No, it's very good, very clean, respectable racing. It's good to see from all of you. Any thoughts going into the final race this evening, which is going to be, I think, 8th place grid reverse. It's going to be the majority of the grid is going to be sort of swapped around. So yeah, how are you all feeling for that?
I think it should be fun. The reverse grid is always fun. We're ahead of Ben and Tom, so maybe Charlie will go side by side, try and stop him from getting past us, and we'll claim a 1-2, or I'll go Alonso style weaving. But no, it's going to be a laugh. The racing's always good as long as we're clean and everyone respects each other. It's always good fun.
Fantastic to hear. Is that the same for you, Charlie and Alex?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do have to apologise to Dan for my little tag that sent him off into the grass. Tried to stay behind him, let him come back on and run, but yeah, it did cost him a bit of ground, so sorry about that.
No worries, it happens. I haven't been on that piece of grass before, so it was nice to have a different adventure today.
Cool. Well, fantastic. Good luck for race 3, chaps.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So that wasn't the top 3 of race 2. That was Alex Jameson, Daniel Abbott, and Charlie Heath. So we will just have a very quick break while we get the server set up for race 3. Could have a drink, but don't go anywhere. Come back for race 3. It's going to be very interesting. 8th place grid reverse. I still can't say that after how many weeks of trying to say it, so we'll see. Yeah, quick short break and we'll be back very shortly. Welcome back to the final race of the penultimate 6-round championship of the VRCC MX-5 Supercup. So for race 3 we have our 8th place grid swap, so that has allowed Stu Neal to take pole position next to Joshua Brown on the front row. Second row is Roy Grassi and Daniel Abbott. Row 3 is Charlie Heath and Alex Jameson. Row 4 is Row 4 is not Trev Hummer. It's decided to do it in a slightly order, but Tom O'Farrell and Ben Abbott line up towards the back. Arnoud Streeter and TJ Kapactica, and then we have Alexander Rhodes, and then Trev Hummer at the back. So I think Trev Hummer with server issues. Hopefully he will be included in the race results towards the end of this race. So we'll be battling for position. I'll try and keep you up to date as to where he is. The final few seconds counting down to race 3. Everyone, I'm sure, a little bit nervous, just getting themselves together. We have our 6 red lights on the gantries. Everyone is ready and raring to go. You can hear the engine notes rise. It's on the line for a few of them. We'll see what happens in race 3. They are away, and a fantastic start from the second row. Charlie Heath, I think, moving across right into the way of Daniel. Looks like Alex Jameson is battling against Ben Abbott in the background as well, so they're all challenging for position. We have, beg your pardon, Joshua Brown. Roy Grassi was in second. Already forgot the order they're in, but there we are. Joshua Brown braking. Who is up in first? Daniel Abbott already battling for third position next to Stu Neal. There's contact at the back. Sparks fly, but they all get through the first couple of turns unscathed. Joshua Brown turning in to Palmer. We have, who do we have? Ben Abbott already up into fourth now, getting past Roy Grassi. Daniel Abbott looking to the inside line, braking hard, but was covered off by Stu Neal, who was defending and kept him at bay. Tom O'Farrell is up into 6th place, but has Charlie Heath right next to him. Had to leave him a little bit of space. Daniel Abbott trying to keep Ben at bay. All running a little bit wide into the grass. Alex Jameson down in 8th. There's contact between Stu Neal and Daniel Abbott, sorry. Both go spinning to the inside as they come through Oggies. Not sure whose fault that was. They both sort of seem to follow each other around. I think the contact between the two didn't help. Joshua Brown trying to defend his line from Ben Abbott, but Ben Abbott has the pace, gets up the inside, going into Brundle, finds his braking point and makes it look very easy. Cuts across the front of Joshua Brown's car by the time he gets to Nielsen, and takes the lead by the time they get to the bomb hole. So not even lap 1 is passed, and Ben Abbott is already in the lead, taking that from Joshua Brown. Tom O'Farrell up into 3rd place, actually, with Charlie Heath on his tail, trying to follow his line. Alex Jameson moving about the place, trying to find his braking point into Murray's. So a bit of a gap from Jameson to Stu Neal, and then Dan Abbott already recovering up to 8th place. Alex Jameson getting the pace on Roy Grassi and takes 5th place from him. As I will have that, thank you very much. Streeter getting past Kapactica into 9th. Side by side go Tom O'Farrell and Charlie Heath. Charlie Heath's the inside line, trying to find the space. Tom O'Farrell with the outside has the quicker speed and keeps hold of 3rd place. Alex Jameson up into 5th as discussed, but not clear of his nearest rival. That is TJ Kapactica, turned around, pointing the wrong way on the exit of Montreal. I think he was battling with Rhodes and Arnoud Streeter, and unfortunately there must have been contact, I think, for that slow corner and spun him around. Ben Abbott in 1st place, currently eking out a 2nd lead over Joshua Brown. Joshua Brown defending from Tom O'Farrell, holding on valiantly, but a little bit of a wobble on the exit, losing speed over Ben Abbott. Tom O'Farrell wants to get past as quickly as possible. because he has Charlie Heath in his tail and he doesn't want to let him past either, because that will be slightly disastrous. Down the Bentley straight they go. You can see Joshua Brown moving to the inside. He was in the slipstream, had the pace. And for the second time around, Tom O'Farrell muscled out of position before they've even got to Brundle. I think Charlie Heath's trying to follow and do the same thing. So your top three, and now Ben Abbott, Tom O'Farrell and Joshua Brown. Joshua Brown running inside, curbing, dragged the front wheels with it. Rejoins very quickly and in a rather straighter line than he wanted. That's going to cost him on the exit, I think. It does indeed. And Charlie Heath with the quicker speed. Alex Jameson as well is on the tail of those two. What is going to happen here now? Alex Jameson's placed his car where he needs to be. Is he going to try an outside manoeuvre? We've seen him do it twice. Rubbing the back of Charlie Heath's car. There's not a lot of space for either of them. But Jameson concedes that very quickly and has to allow Joshua Brown to fall into place. But is trying to position himself once again to get the inside going into Montreal. Muscles his way in, but it's going to be on the back foot for the left-hander of Palmer. So Charlie Heath has moved to third. This battle between Brown and Jameson is going to allow him to open up the gap. Tom O'Farrell trying to chase down the gap to Ben Abbott. I think the gap closed down ever so slightly. Lost 2 seconds at the moment. Jameson up the inside as they get to Agostini. Tank slapper on the exit and tags the side of Joshua Brown's car really, really hard. So the back end skipped out. He held it, but it gripped up and threw him the other way. So an uncharacteristic mistake from Jameson. That has, unfortunately, to Joshua Brown's detriment. He's now forces him down into 8th place as Daniel Abbott managed to get round as he was recovering. So they are all now a lot further down the order. Ben Abbott in first place once again. Tom O'Farrell in second. Charlie Heath in third. Roy Grassi in fourth. Stu Neal in sixth, trying to chase him down. Ben Abbott up into sixth after recovering from that first lap incident. Joshua Brown in seventh. And Alex Jameson has let him pass because Alex Jameson was ahead of both Daniel and Joshua, but I think owning up to his mistake there has let the two of them through. On his Streeter in 9th, Alexander Rhodes continuing, unfortunately, his bad luck in 10th. Trev Hummer is being counted in this result this time in 11th, and TJ Gepeka in 12th. Oh, so first, very active couple of laps. They all seem to have settled into themselves a little bit now. I say that as Rhodes gets the inside on turn 1 on Arnold Streeter. A very quick manoeuvre done on for Alexander. Down to the gears, I think that was Trev Hummer. Alexander Rhodes not in the clear yet. Only just gathering himself together to try and get that position back. I believe this is going to be the closest battle on track at the moment, although I think Joshua Brown and Ben Abbott. No, Alex Jameson getting past Joshua Brown once again. So trying that manoeuvre in a more fair manner. And takes 7th place from Joshua Brown. Trev Hummer is spinning the wrong way, and I think of his own accord has made a mistake and has let the cars through and is now rejoined in 12th. Quite interested to see this battle between Roy Grassi and Stu Neal. So still running fairly close on track position. You've got Daniel Abbott in the background trying to chase them down. but they've been running fairly even pace for the majority. Roy Grassi a little bit far away from Charlie Heath in third, so there's not much of a chance of a podium unless Charlie unfortunately makes another mistake in this race. But Stu Neal and Roy Grassi, not one we've seen battling before, I don't think. But again, will their battle conclude before Daniel gets onto the back, or will Daniel then make it a 3-car battle for 4th? Daniel, of course, wants to try and recover as much as he can. Little twitch from Stu Neal to try and find the inside line. Can't do it. Can he get a better exit? Side by side on the exit. Force his way up there as they go through Hamilton. Doesn't quite have the pace. He's looking for any opening he can. Obviously, this battle is going to allow Daniel a little bit more. I think Roy Grassi trying to take his normal line, moved across in front of Stu. Doesn't want to try and do that too often. Otherwise, that could cause contact. Down the main straight, they're all relatively close to each other within slipstreaming distance. Fastest point in the circuit, roughly 115 miles an hour. Very tight line from Stu Neal to try and catch up to the back of Roy. Can't quite get it, but Daniel Abbott now has got onto the back. That is Trev Hummer off the road once again. Great shame. I think that's on the exit of Williams. It's a great shame to see him struggling. Half race distance completed for race 3. Ben Abbott, 5-second lead over Tom O'Farrell. Back to winning form for the 5th round after missing the 4th. This is going to open up the points gap between him and Charlie Heath even more. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with regards to points with Tom O'Farrell and Charlie Heath, because Charlie Heath was even with Abbott, but he's not going to be anymore. This is the 3-car battle we were discussing between Daniel Abbott, Roy Grassi and Stu Neal. Nearly 3 wide going through Palmer's. They're all finding position. Daniel wants to get through as much as possible, switches to the inside. Coming up to Agostini, finds his braking point. Can he get the manoeuvre done before then? Later on the brakes, trying to block the undercut from Roy Grassi. Little bit of a wobble, just about manages to keep him at bay. I think he's got the inside line. Does Daniel going through Hamilton. Roy going wide on the grass. Cuts across his contact with Stu Neal. He seems to be repeat behaviour. Alex Jameson's in on this battle as well. Caught up very quickly once he knew what was going on. He's trying to get through as quickly as possible. He's in the slipstream with Stu Neal now. 4 cars going down the Bentley straight. Daniel in front in 4th. Roy Grassi in 5th, Stu Neal in 6th, and Alex Jameson 7th. However, Jameson looking for an outside manoeuvre going into Brundle. Brakes at the same point all the way around the outside. Can't get it done. Can he get the better exit from Nelson? Not quite. So saw the opportunity, tried to follow, I think, Roy Grassi's line. Couldn't quite keep on top of it. All spreading out just a little bit more as Daniel Abbott now has clear air in front of him and opens up the gap over Roy Grassi. Jameson though starting to show his proper race pace now. Down the back straight. Looks to the inside. It's a drag race between the two, but it's an outside manoeuvre we've seen him do twice. Can he do it a 3rd time on Stu Neal? Not quite. Stu moving very wide on the exit. I think that car got away from him slightly. Didn't stick to his line particularly well. That has allowed Jameson up the inside, and at the Montreal hairpin, Jameson gets the manoeuvre done. very clean and tidy, read that as well as he could, and managed to get the manoeuvre done on Stu Neal. Has to be careful not to get past once again on Stu Neal, as Jameson's going to be looking to Grassy now in car number 8 for 5th place. But no, that's Stu Neal of his own accord. Tank slaps the car. The back end stepped out on the exit of Agostini and he lost it completely. So, of his own accord, unfortunately, Stu Neal's just taken himself out of that battle for 6th. Does rejoin incredibly safely, so well done to him for that. But rejoins down in 10th place, unfortunately. The final 5 minutes remaining of race 3 sees Ben Abbott as he comes through Murray's in 1st place, just over 7 seconds at this point ahead of Tom O'Farrell in 2nd, and Charlie Heath for AGL Motorsport down in 3rd place. Daniel Abbott now trying to chase down that 3rd place. And now the battle for 5th between Roy Grassy and Alex Jameson. So Jameson getting past Stu Neal that we saw incredibly quickly. Down the start-finish straight they go. Jameson got a fantastic exit. They are side by side now down the main straight. Going into Richards, which one will it be? Jameson trying his outside manoeuvre, holding onto the car as much as he can. Keeps the pace that he needs. But will be on the outside line. Goes wide, goes deep. Tries to get the good exit in the undercut. Not quite. Grassy held his speed. And will hold on to that position for the moment. Joshua Brown running a very wide line through Montreal. We'll have to be careful not to allow roads too close. Jameson looking for a dive up the inside of Agostini rather, not quite. Letting Roy Grassy know that he's there and he wants to get past. Bumper to bumper between Alex and Roy Grassy. Alex looking to the outside, muscles his way there. He's on the outside coming out of Williams onto the Bentley straight. Doesn't get squeezed out. That is going to be a fantastic position to be in down the straight now. If he can hold on to that going into Brundle, that's going to give him the edge. Gets the better exit, just about holds on to it, moves across the racing line and cuts off Roy Grassy from trying to get a counter manoeuvre done. And Alex Jameson, textbook manoeuvre, gets 5th place. That was a very slow Joshua Brown on the exit. Car looked sideways for a moment, I think. And that has allowed Alex Rhodes and Arnoud Streeter past on the exit of Nelson. So some great battles between all the drivers all the way down the order. 2 minutes remaining. I believe they will. So this will be the penultimate lap. They probably will get. Ben will get across the line once more before the end of the race. So this will be the penultimate lap of the race. Tom O'Farrell doing his absolute best, and arguably a very quick championship contender if it wasn't for the absolute dominance of Ben Abbott, with the added experience of racing these in real life. Charlie Heath in 3rd, currently sitting about 5 or 6 seconds ahead of Daniel Abbott. Alex Jameson getting past Roy Grassy. Roy Grassy not letting him go, still within striking distance. Slowly falling back on pace. Alexander Rhodes recovering up into 7th place. But the best result for him this round for a 7th. Arnoud Streeter in 8th. Joshua Brown in 9th. Stu Neal in 10th. And TJ Kopactica in 11th place, the last car running on the grid. So as discussed, Ben Abbott now comes down the main straight once more. Just under a minute remaining on the clock. That will deplete to 0, and then when he comes across the line, that will finish race 3 and most likely go to the man you're watching now. Not to jinx it at all. Looking down the order, what is happening down here? Joshua Brown is under attack from Arnoud Streeter. No, other way around, sorry. Arnoud Streeter is under pressure from Joshua Brown. Joshua Brown just cuts across him going into turn 1. And Joshua Brown recovering another place there. Well done to him. Alex Jameson in 5th, trying to chase down Daniel Abbott. Doubt he'll be able to do that, and I think Charlie Heath back to a podium finish for him. I think that's going to be how they're going to finish the order, unless there are any last lap errors by our drivers, which has happened. It's not all done and dusted until they cross the line. Will we see a battle between Joshua Brown and Alexander Rhodes by the end? Who knows? But this man, dominant performance once again, missed the last round, and that has not phased him at all. Led from essentially start to finish in race 1 and 2. Had to start from 8th place in race 3. Did not make a difference. Showboating now, coming around the bomb hole into Karaman and Murray's. That's a very big slide from him there. With time to spare, your race winner for race 3 of round 5 of the VRCC MX-5 Super Cup is Ben Abbott. Another well executed J-turn for victory. Tom O'Farrell finishing 2nd. And Charlie Heath rounding out the podium in 3rd place. Daniel Abbott in 4th. Alex Jameson taking 5th place. Roy Grassi in 6th. Alexander Rhodes will finish in 7th. Joshua Brown in 8th. Arnoud Streeter in 9th. Stu Neal in 10th. And last but not least, TJ Kopactica, car number 12, taking 11th place. And that's bumper cars for the end of the race. I'm not sure how far you can go on this before you end up disappearing off the edge of the earth, but there we are. So a fantastic race from all. And let's see who we have to speak to. We are joined already by Tom O'Farrell. How was that for you? How were the first couple of laps in that race for you, sir?
It was nice to actually have a bit of a race, to be honest, that time.
But you made it look too easy for the first two. You kind of needed a little challenge, didn't you?
Me easy, Jesus. Honestly, hats off to Ben. How he's done a 5.8, that is just crazy. But yeah, that race was a bit more fun. I had a bit more of a battle. So yeah, I'll take that. I've closed the gap now to I think Charlie in second in the championship. So I'm happy with that.
No, we will have to see how that where the points land at the end, and yeah, how close you are. Is Is that what you're going to be fighting for now? If you're close enough for the second in the championship?
To be honest, I don't see it happening. From my maths, I think the only way I can become second is if I finish something like 10 places above him in the next 3 races. So yeah, I don't see it happening, to be honest, but we'll try.
We shall see. Well, yeah. Any thoughts for Laguna Seca going to the Americas at the last round?
I quite enjoy the circuit, to be honest. It suits these cars quite well. So yeah, let's kind of see what happens there.
Fantastic. But yes, good result for you, Tom. And yeah, congratulations on your second place in all 3 races. And yeah, we'll see you at the next round.
Brilliant. Cheers. See you then.
Charlie, back on form for a podium. How was that battling through the grid?
It was a lot of fun, that one, actually. The first few laps, some good battles, and people going off left, right, and centre as well, and just managing to keep out of trouble. Bit of a battle with Tom as well, but he had more pace than me today, so I wasn't going to be able to keep him behind me. And then I was just on my own for the rest of the race, so and the gaps in front weren't really getting that much bigger, and the gap behind weren't getting that much smaller, so it was fairly straightforward after that.
Fair enough. You weren't worried that Daniel would chase you down?
I did at one point. There was something weird happen. I don't know what it was. It was something doing me. I thought I'd broken the car. I got third when I was trying for 5th at one point, and the engine flashed red, and I just couldn't get below a 208, and I've been doing 207s consistently. So I thought I'd broken it, and then I noticed Dan was catching me, so I pushed on a little bit and then put in a low 207, so the car was fine. It was just me. So yeah, after that it was all good.
So a slight worry, but held out in the end. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts for Laguna Seca next week?
I quite like Laguna. It's a nice circuit. I think, as Tom said, it suits these cars well. So yeah, let's see. It's be a fun way to round off the season.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, good luck, and we'll see you next week as well, hopefully.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
No worries. So, Ben, the dominant performance, the hat trick, the fastest lap that you were after. How do you feel after that?
Very good. Yeah, I couldn't let Charlie have 3 wins last time, so I thought I'd try and equal him this time. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, quite pleased we got down to 205s, 258. I think there's a little bit more in it, but to be honest, you're chasing like hundreds and thousands there. So, but yeah, almost spammed myself out in the last lap of the last corner, just hitting that in
Yes,
grass.
I saw, yes.
But a little bit of a heart moment there. But no, it's all good. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, I was quite surprised at the start of that one. Starting 8th, I thought, oh, it's going to be. I'll just play it easy. Like up the inside. I know it's not. Sometimes you can get an advantage by like going right around the outside, but I thought I'd play it safe on the inside, and the gap just opened up and got through to the lead, and then there was a bit of contact that got me through. So I was leading by the end of the first lap, which was quite nice. So it was a chance to get my head down while Tom and Charlie had to fight to get past. I think it was Josh. I think. Which didn't last too long. I was hoping Josh would hold them up quite a bit. But yeah, it was all good after I got in the lead, just to get my head down and get the pace in.
Fair enough. No, so yeah, no, it all sort of fell into your hands a little bit going through the pack. So yeah, congratulations on that. What are your thoughts for next week at Laguna Seca?
I do like Laguna Seca. It's a good circuit. It's a lot harder to overtake on than Snetterton. So we'll have to see. But it is a good fun circuit. They do suit these cars really well. I think as everyone in this chat said it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good fun. I got a big target on my back at the moment. I think I'm going in leading. So yeah, it'll be everything to stop me winning. But I'm up for a fight. So hopefully we'll have some good fun.
Fantastic. Well, yes, thank you, gentlemen, for speaking to me at the end. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. And yeah, have a good week.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that is your top 3 for the third race. Another dominant performance by Ben Abbott, Tom O'Farrell in second place, and then Charlie Heath taking third in that race. So yes, next week I shall show you on the calendar we have the American round Laguna Seca. Don't miss it, it's going to be a good one, I'm sure. One more week to go. We'll obviously give you any updates as to whether there are any driver protests or anything, but no, very clean race for that one. I don't think that's going to be anything for the stewards to particularly look at. Good performance by all, and yeah, same place next week for the final round. We also have the other Positive Perception GT race on Thursday, so don't miss that one as well. I hope you all had a very good week. Try and keep cool. It's sweltering out there, and yeah, we'll see you all soon. Have a good time. See you there.